Let's talk about multiplying complex numbers. If I multiply two complex numbers like 2 minus 5i times 5 plus 2i, where I is the square root of negative 1, not a real number, but an imaginary number. If I multiply these, I'm going to get a complex number of the form a plus bi. And this question is asking us, what would the value of a be after I multiply this out? So let's go through the steps of multiplying these two complex numbers. 2 minus 5i times 5 plus 2i can be approached in the same way that you would approach multiplying any binomials. I'm going to take the 2 times the 4, which is 8, then 2 times 2i, which is positive 4i, and then I'll go ahead and take a look at the negative 5i and multiply the negative 5i times first the 4, negative 20i, and then 2i, which is negative 10i squared. I is not a real number. It's not even a variable. It represents the square root of negative 1. But when I'm doing this multiplication, I can treat it as if it were a variable. The big difference is that on the next step, I can combine 4i and negative 20i to get negative 16i. But on the next step, the big difference between I and a regular variable is the fact that I squared is negative 1. So this last term, minus 10i squared, becomes minus 10 times negative 1. And that product, negative 10 times negative 1, is actually plus 10. And what I can do as the final step in simplifying this expression is combine the like terms. The first term and the last term, 8 and 10, are like terms. 18 is that sum, which means that this product is 18 minus 16i. 2 minus 5i times 4 plus 2i is exactly 18 minus 16i. Let's answer the question now given in the problem. What is the value of a? A complex number is always written in the form a plus bi, so the value of a is that 18, and we've solved the problem. When you multiply 2 minus 5i times 4 plus 2i, the value of a is 18.